Hi everybody, this is Justin with Red Wagon Farm out here at our Lafayette farm location. Today we're going to go over harvesting eggplant. Eggplant is one of our very most important crops, and it can be a little bit difficult with all the different varieties and sizes to know exactly when and where to harvest. So today I'll be going through all the important steps of looking for the eggplant. I'll be going over the important characteristics we need to look for, and hopefully by the end of this video we'll all be able to easily recognize when an eggplant is ready to come off the fruit and ready to be sent out to a customer. Let's get started. Okay, before we get started, I want to go over a few different characteristics to look out for when we're harvesting. These are all some samples that I just picked, and I just want to go through some of them together. You can see that out in this field we have about four different varieties of eggplant. We have an Italian variety right here. It's your standard fruit. We have a Japanese variety, which comes in two colors that we've planted. We have a purple variety here, and then this is a black variety here. And we also have this another Italian style eggplant called Barbarella. This is a plant that has hybrid vigor, so it's an heirloom eggplant that they've bred for hybrid vigor. So these are really beautiful, and we really like them, and they're definitely a good crowd pleaser. So before we even go out in the field, there's a few characteristics that we want to look out for. One of the most important characteristics we want to look out for is size. Now, most of these, as you can see, like the varieties have different sizes, obviously, so we want to be cognizant of that when we're looking for them. We can see that this Italian one that I've picked right here, I would say that this fruit is a great size for harvesting. Now, I'm not going to base it only on the size. You can see that it's probably from the base of the calyx, so the base of this green part, not including the stem, the base of the calyx to the bud of the eggplant. It extends from my fingers to about a little bit past my wrist, so maybe it's about 7 or 8 inches long or so, and that's a good size. I also have a few other ones I've picked here that are a bit smaller, just so we can show you some comparisons. So let's go into the second most important aspect, and that would be color. We want them to have a nice deep color if they're going to be the Italian variety. The Barbarella variety has this nice rosy, like purplish color to it. It's very nice. The Japanese varieties, for one of them we have another purple variety, and you can see it's kind of got this little, it's darker and lighter at the same time, I guess. I'm not sure exactly what to call this, maybe magenta. And then these ones are a straight black. So take a closer look at these. The third and final characteristics I want people to pay attention to is the sheen on these eggplant. Now, I don't know how easy it is to do that. The sun just decided to go away, so it's a little bit difficult to see this. But these smaller eggplant right here in my hand have a little bit more glossiness to them. I mean, you can even see like the reflection of my phone and my hand and my fingers in it pretty easily. So that's a good indication that this eggplant is not ready to pick. This eggplant is going to grow more. Because of its nice glossy skin, it's going to get bigger, and we'll have a bigger fruit if we don't harvest it at this size. Now, if we look at this one, it's a little bit dulled out. You can still see my fingers and my hand, obviously, but compared to this one, it's definitely less clear. It's definitely a more dull, glossy sheen on that. So that's a good indicator that it's getting ready to not grow anymore, and maybe it's okay to harvest this. And this one, you can see it's kind of maybe gotten a little bit stressed out. Who knows? It's got a little bit of few dents in it, so, and at the bottom of it's starting to turn color. This one, I would say it's either a take it or leave it situation. This one I decided to take because it looks like, it could grow more, but it could also just go dull and be fine like that. This one has great size to it, And it also, again, it has a little bit more of a washed out sheen on it. It's not very obvious, but compare it again to compare it again to this smaller fruit, and you can see that there is definitely a difference between my hands, if you can see that. Definitely a lot more sharper on this smaller one versus this larger one. And let's look at this one too. This one is another one I pulled out. Let's see if I can get all my reflection on all three of them somehow, if I can easily do it. Yeah, and you can kind of see, like, if I put my hand close to this one, it's really, really, really sharp. This one, not so much. That one maybe a bit more. So this one's probably the ripest one. It's definitely got the most dull color on it. And that's great. So at this size, the color, the glossiness, this would be a perfectly great eggplant to harvest. Let's move over to the Japanese varieties. So we're looking for the same things here. We want to find good sized ones, and we want to find ones that have a more dull skin to them. So I've picked a few here in various stages of their life. This purple one here, this guy is a bit small. I'd probably say we want to leave stuff like this on the plant. He's probably about a good 6 to 7 inches long or so. And he's got this really nice sheen to him as well. Again, look at that right there. He's definitely shiny, nice shiny eggplant. Whereas these ones are a bit longer, a bit thicker, which is good. We definitely want a good thickness to them. And you can see that he's just a bit more dull. A lot more dull, I'd say, actually. And that's great. We want to take them when they have that dullness gone. Now, there is the case where these are very small and dull, and we can pick stuff like that, but chances are it's not going to go out to a CSA customer. But anyway, usually we want to pick things that are like this length and have this amount of sheen to them. And these ones definitely have that. So these are ready to come off the plant. Let's take a look at the black ones. These guys, they don't dull very much. They don't seem to dull very easily. So I'd say, like, definitely looking for size here. You can start to see that they're getting a little bit of blemishes on them. So that's a good indication that they're probably ready. You can see, look at the back of the bottom of this one. Definitely has a few blemishes there. This one as well. It's definitely getting a dullness on the back side. So one side is pretty shiny, but the back is a little bit less. I don't know if that can be picked up on camera or not. If I compare it to this one, you can see this is a much more dull sheen on it than this one is. So yeah, there you go. This one is also a great size, but it also has like nice glossiness to it. So I could probably leave this one on the plant. It might even get bigger than this, to be honest. But I just decided to take it because I figured it'd be a good way to kind of show a comparison. And it also looks really nice. I mean, size-wise, they're almost identical. And it looks like a really great eggplant. I'd be very happy to see that in a CSA share if I was getting one. So let's go out in the field and we will look at how to harvest these. So here we are. Here's a few different plants. This variety is an Italian variety. It is called A1. It is just a hybrid variety of eggplant. It has these nice green leaves. It's really fairly easy to identify versus our other varieties, which usually will have purple leaves or so. We have two different types. We have an early flowering and a late flowering. So here we are. You can see I'm wearing gloves. Not all of these plants have thorns on them. Some of them do though. So we got to be really careful about that because you will get poked. The thorns like to hide in the calyxes. So when you're harvesting, if you grab by the calyx, which is what you're supposed to do, it will definitely poke you and it'll hurt. So safety first. So after a few seconds of searching, I found myself a nice ripe eggplant. I'm gonna pull it up here so you can see it's still got some glossiness to it, but as opposed to maybe a smaller one like this, it's a lot sharper sheen to it, I'd say. Pull this one back up. I'm gonna say that this one's ready to take. So the way I'm gonna harvest this is I'm gonna pull on this green part right here, which is called the calyx right here. And here's the stem coming out of the calyx. I'm gonna pull down on it and just snapped right off. And there we go. Nice large eggplant. And that is a great size, and it'll go straight into my bin, and it'll be set down gently inside of it. Okay, so here's the other variety of eggplant that we'll be dealing with today. These are our Japanese eggplants. Now again, we do have two varieties of these. We have a purple one and a black one, which is this one here. A little bit difficult to see because of the sun, but I will get closer to it. Okay, as you can see, I found myself a nice fruit here hiding in the plant. When we're doing this, like with most crops, you gotta be really diligent about searching around. So you're always kind of moving plants around, looking behind plants, looking at plants behind that plant. We always want to be really good about looking for the fruits because we're going to miss some, and if we do, then they're gonna go bad. So I found this nice one here. He's pretty glossy. I like the size of him though, and you can see that, you know, definitely got a good thickness to him. I can pretty much put my finger around it, my thumb and my forefinger, and I'd say that's like a pretty much perfect size. Will he grow more? Potentially, but honestly, he looks really nice. So I'm gonna harvest him the same way I harvest the other eggplant, the Italian varieties. Grab him by the calyx, pull down, and pull up. And there we go. Sometimes with these ones, the stalks of the plants are a little bit thinner, so it helps to just pull up on them as opposed to pulling down. We just really want to be careful again about accidentally pulling the calyxes off. Doesn't necessarily affect the fruit, just makes them look a little bit uglier. So keeping this top part on is definitely preferred. But anyway, that's how you harvest Japanese eggplant.